People had to kill water rats in those days because they couldn't buy purses. But we know that water rats are just as much taboo these particular days for you and me as anything else that is alive. "I think I've kept you out a little too late," said Tegumai, when they were near home, "and Mummy won't be pleased with us. Run home, Taffy. You can see the cave fire from here." Taffy ran along, and that very minute Tegumai heard something crackle in the bushes, and a big, lean, grey wolf jumped out and began to trot quietly after Taffy. Now, all the Tegumai people hated wolves and killed them whenever they could, and Tegumai had never seen one so close to his cave before. He hurried after Taffy, but the wolf heard him and jumped back into the bushes. Those wolves were afraid of grown-ups, but they used to try to catch the children of the tribe. Taffy was swinging the water rat and singing to herself. Her daddy had taken off all taboos, so she didn't notice anything. There was a little meadow close to the cave, and by the mouth of the cave Taffy saw a tall man standing in her rose garden, but it was too dark to make out properly. "I do believe my taboo necklace has truly caught somebody," she said, and she was still running up to look when she heard her daddy say, "Still, Taffy! Still taboo till I take it off." She stopped where she was, the water rat in one hand and the throwing stick in the other, only turning her head towards her daddy to be ready for the carry on sign. It was the longest still taboo she had had put on her all that day. Tegumai had stepped back close to the wood and was holding his stone throwing hatchet in one hand, and with the other he was making the still taboo sign. Then she thought she saw something black creeping sideways at her across the grass. It came nearer and nearer. Then it moved back a little, and then it crawled closer. Then she heard her daddy's stone throwing hatchet whir past her shoulder just like a partridge, and at the same time another hatchet whirled out from the rose garden, and there was a howl, and a big grey wolf lay kicking on the grass, quite dead. Then Tegumai picked her up and kissed her 7 times, and said, "My tribal word and testimony, Taffy, but you are a daughter to be proud of. Did you know what it was?" "I'm not sure," said Taffy, "but I think I guessed it was a wolf. I knew you wouldn't let it hurt me." "Good girl," said Tegumai, and he stooped over the wolf and picked up both hatchets. "Why, here's the head chief's hatchet," he said, and he held up the head chief's magic throwing hatchet with the big greenstone head. "Yes," said the head chief from inside Taffy's rose garden, "and I'd be very much obliged if you would bring it back to me. I came to call on you this afternoon, and accidentally I stepped into Taffy's garden before I saw her taboo necklace on the rose tree. So, of course, I had to wait till Taffy came back to let me out." Then the head chief, all in his feathers and shells, took the 3 sorrowful steps, with his head on one side, and said, "I broke taboo, I broke taboo, I broke taboo," and bowed solemnly and statelily before Taffy, till his tall eagle feathers nearly touched the ground, and he said and sang, "O daughter of Tegumai, I saw everything that happened. You are a true taboo girl. I am very pleased at you. At first I wasn't pleased because I had to wait in your garden since 6 o'clock, and I know you only put taboo on your garden for fun." "No, not fun," said Taffy. "I truly wanted to see if my taboo would catch anybody. But I didn't know that a little taboo like mine would work on a big head chief like you, O head chief." "I told you it worked. I gave it to you myself," said the head chief. "Of course it would work, but I don't mind. I want to tell you, Taffy, my dear, that I wouldn't have minded staying in your garden from 12 o'clock instead of only 6 o'clock to see how beautifully you kept that last still taboo that your daddy put on you. I give you my chiefly word, Taffy, that a great many men in the tribe wouldn't have kept that taboo as you kept it, with that wolf crawling up to you across the grass." "What are you going to do with the wolf skin, O head chief?" said Tegumai, because any animal that the head chief threw his hatchet at belonged to the head chief by the tribal custom of Tegumai. "I'm going to give it to Taffy, of course, for a winter cloak. I'll make her a magic necklace of her very own out of the teeth and claws," said the head chief, "and I'm going to have the story of Taffy and the still taboo painted on wood on the tribal taboo count, so that all the girl daughters of the tribe can see and know and remember and understand. Then all three went into the cave, and Teshumite gave them a most beautiful supper, and the head chief took off his eagle head feathers and all his necklaces, and when it was time for Taffy to go to bed in her own little cave, Tegumai and the head chief came in to say good night, and they romped all round the cave and dragged Taffy over the floor on a deerskin, same as some people are dragged about on a hearthrug. And they finished by throwing the otterskin cushions about and knocking down a lot of old spears and fishing rods that were hung on the walls. At last things grew so rowdy that Teshumite came in and said, "Still! Still, Tabu, on every one of you. How do you expect that child to go to sleep?" And they said the really good night, and Taffy went to sleep. After that, what happened? Oh, Taffy learned all the taboos, just like some people we know. She learned the white shark taboo, which made her eat up her dinner instead of playing with it, and that goes with a green and white necklace, you know. She learned the grown-up taboo, which prevented her from talking when Neolithic ladies came to call, and, you know, a blue and white necklace goes with that. She learned the owl taboo, which prevented her staring at strangers, and a black and blue necklace goes with that. She learned the open hand taboo, and we know a white necklace goes with that, which prevented her snapping and snarling when people borrowed things that belonged to her. And she learned 5 other taboos, but the chief thing she learned, and the one that she never broke, not even by accident, was the still taboo. That was why she was taken everywhere that her daddy went. Pictures described by the author. 1. This is a picture of the tribal totem pole after it was put up on the banks of the Wagai River. That fat thing at the top is the tribal beaver of the tribe of Tegumai. It is carved from lime wood, and though you can't see the nails, it is nailed onto the rest of the pole, which is all in one piece. Below the beaver are 4 birds, 2 ducks, one of them looking at an egg, a sparrow bird, and a bird whose name I don't know. Below them is a rabbit. Below the rabbit is a weasel. Below the weasel a fox or dog, I'm not quite sure which, and below the dog 2 fishes. On the other side of the pole is an otter, a badger, a bison, and a wild horse. The rope that steadies the pole is looped round next to the fishes. This shows that the taboo is a fish taboo. If the head chief wanted to taboo the tribe killing rabbits or duck, he would have put the rope next to the rabbit or the duck carving, and so on with the other animals and birds. The 2 black figures below the rope are meant for the bad man who didn't keep taboo, and so grew all knobbly and uncomfy, and the good man who kept taboo and grew fat and round. They are painted on the pole with a paint made from oak apples and pounded up pieces of iron. At the very bottom of the pole, but there was not room to put it in the picture, are 6 copper rings to show that the taboo was to last for 6 months. You will see that there is nobody at all in the woods and hills behind. That is because the taboo is a strong taboo, and nobody would break it. 2. This is the picture that the head chief made of Taffy keeping the still taboo. It is done in the head chiefly style of the tribe of Tegumai, and it is full of taboo meanings and signs. The wolf is lying under what is meant to be a taboo tree. He is made squarely because that was the head chiefly way of drawing. All that wavy curly stuff underneath him is the taboo way of drawing grass, and below the grass is a thing like a piece of stone wall, which is the taboo way of drawing earth. Taffy is always drawn in outline, quite white. You will see her over to the right, keeping the still taboo very hard. I do not know why they did not draw the water rat that she was carrying, but I think it was because it wouldn't look pretty in the picture. Tegumai is standing over at the left, throwing his hatchet at the wolf. He is dressed in a cloak embroidered with the sacred beaver of the tribe, all turned into a pattern to show that he belonged to the tribe of Tegumai. He has a quiver with 2 arrows and a bow stuck into it, to show that he is hunting.